What's going on, everyone? I'm very excited to introduce you to the first guest that I'll be having on my channel, Emmanuel from Healthy Tech Media. He is an incoming first year medical student and YouTuber, and he also has a unique background in engineering. If you have interest in tech, integrations between tech and medicine, and also finances as a medical student, you'll definitely love this conversation. If you have interest in specific things, go check out the timestamps in the description. I'll have everything laid out for you guys in the description. So if you want to jump from section to section, check out the description for the timestamps. If you are interested in more content just like this, make sure you let me know in the comment section down below. I have much more coming for you guys. So I hope you enjoy. If you're new, make sure you subscribe and like the video if you enjoyed the video. And let's get into the interview. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to my channel, and thank you for clicking on this video. For those of you who may be new to my channel, my name is Terence. I'm a first-year medical student. If you're new, make sure you subscribe and like the video if you enjoy these videos. I'll be putting out weekly videos just like this every single week, so make sure you come along for the journey. As you can see, we're doing a different style of video this time. It's actually my first interview. I'm really happy to have on Emmanuel from Healthy Tech Media. He has a YouTube channel. He uploads videos twice a week. He does interviews, he talks about tech, medicine, MCAT, medical school, admissions, everything in between. Really great interviewer. He's also an incoming first year medical student, just like myself. He makes a lot of great content on YouTube with interviews. So I wanted to kind of get to know him a little bit more and interview him. So without further ado, Emmanuel, just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Yes, will do. Thank you so much, Terence, for having me on. Like, I feel so happy. I'm actually a subscriber to Terence myself, so it's gonna be great to see this. I'm like, oh my god. But anyway, so yes. So my name is Emmanuel. I've actually, as Terence has said, I have a YouTube channel called Healthy Tech, and I'm very passionate about like mentorship and technology, and especially with technology, I feel like technology is very important in improve productivity, right? So I love to talk about how tech can make your life more efficient. Also, in terms of the medical process, how you can learn to how you can learn to put yourself in the best situation so you can succeed if you're planning to apply to medical school, whatever professional school you're trying to do. It's interesting because my training originally was in engineering. So, which is why I feel like I love to use things to try to solve problems. So yeah, my background is in engineering. I just want to be here to, be a resource for you guys, so you guys can learn how to, solve your problems, succeed professionally, financially, and whatnot, just so you can live a successful life and be happy.
Yeah, that's really awesome. Yeah, I came across your channel recently, and I was on your channel recently as well. I don't know if this video is going to come up before mine, but I was on your channel, and just hearing what, like you said, thinking about engineering and your engineering background, I had my experience with engineers, and all they think about is just how to solve problems, how to make things as efficient as possible. So it's really interesting, and I really want to have you on the channel. So one thing I want to ask you specifically about your channel and about tech, where did you kind of get that intuition for tech and your interest in it? And how do you kind of see it going forward with medicine? How do you wish to kind of integrate it yourself as a medical student?
Yeah, so that intuition, I feel like it came probably like from a very early age. Like, I was one of those kids who went to the movies and watched TV, and those movies like Spy Kids, Agent Cody Banks, right? All the time they would have these cool gadgets, like, and these things were making, like they were all fictional in a way, right? But they're all cool, like in the sense that like you can use this technology to make things more efficient, to solve or to do this action that you were trying to do, right? And it's the whole thing is like you're building a tool to be able to solve things or to be able to do things, right? So when I was watching that, right, also growing up in California, technology is everywhere. Mm-hmm. So having that exposure, loving computers, growing up being the person in my family who's always like, if there's a computer problem, it's me who fixes it. Like, so having all that experience and then going into the fact that like, I was willing to learn more tools and do engineering, I felt like this was very important to, build on my passions to be able to create things to help people. So going into medicine though, right? So technology is everywhere. There's good things about tech, and let me let you guys know there's definitely bad things, right?
Right.
Because technology, especially with the workforce, you can see things like the Amazon Go store, right? Like you can see that there might not be as much need to have cashiers, right? Like the whole concept of Amazon Go store is that you walk in and you walk out. There's no typing bars, no payment or anything like that. You just scan in, scan out, and you can see that removed roles, right? So there's problems with technology for that. But I think in terms of medicine, like there's so many benefits you can get, right? Like I think things that should always be focused on is efficacy and efficiency, right? If anything you can do, if we can lower costs, like I'm hoping like the advent of like telemedicine, like expanding like this will lead to lower costs and how much
Right.
like you get, or how much it costs to get services, things like that, make it more accessible for people. Especially like if I'm in a different country, right? Like then maybe that doesn't have as good resources. Like why can I not just teleconference to someone in a different country who has like maybe better clinical training or whatever, right? Or in terms of like the OR or room or like any procedure room, just to have like better tracking of the patient to understand better of how the patient is doing. So honestly there's like so many places that you can put technology in, and it's kind of crazy because like I feel like almost everything can be improved, right? And
Right.
that's for me, that's what technology is. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's amazing, and I agree with everything you said. Especially when it comes to telemedicine and telehealth, just the idea that obviously not every case and every patient that we see as future doctors is going to be feasible through telemedicine. You need to sometimes touch the patient. You need to sometimes examine the patient, especially in certain fields. Me having an orthopedic background, I had orthopedic physicians tell me, I got to feel the patient, I got to touch the patient. So they're not necessarily the biggest fan, but as far as follow-ups, or if it's just you coming into the office to tell me that you're fine, just to, it breaks down, it goes into that efficiency again, like you said. And then even in the OR, robot surgery and the ability to really optimize surgery and make it more precise through technology and through robots is fascinating to me. Hopefully it's something that I get to see in different realms of medicine as I'm shadowing as a medical student, and I'm sure you're excited for the same things. But it's really fascinating. Is there anything that you specifically kind of want to push forward as like an initiative as a medical student or future doctor? Anything you're focused on specifically?
If I can, is it okay if I say something about?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, so just a quick, I wanted to address something you said earlier, actually. So especially the need of like, touching patients, right? They're actually building, or I believe that there's some like work into the devices to give you some kind of haptic sense, right? That you can do some type of like feeling or maneuvering remotely in your wherever you're living, right? If I don't have to physically get there, or if you're older, right? Like it's great to have devices. So I mean, like I'm sure that there's some type of investigation in these fields, right? And to your question, so specific focus. So I'm actually leaning. I guess I'll say here. So I'm actually leaning into probably starting a startup during medical school. It's going to be interesting. So I think what I want to do, I'm not sure if I have a certain problem I want to solve, right? 'Cause I think there's just so many opportunities, right? There's so many things I feel like can always be improved. Like I think with medicine, it's always learning, right? Like people say you're always practicing medicine, you're always learning. So you can always have another iteration to improve what was the current understanding or the past understanding, state of art, right? So I think what I'm going to look for though is probably towards the OR or some type of procedural room, because I think one to focus on more is like when physicians, the staff, and everyone is doing procedures that that they're pretty much well supported, right? Like in terms of like being able to monitor the patient, right? We have very well trained personnel, physicians, other personnel as well, but to be able to also have a tool that they can use that, like, I think one time I went to the room and I saw somebody like hand marking everything and after every certain interval. I'm like, that, I don't know if this is like standard practice, but to me that
Yeah.
was like really inefficient.
Right.
Right?
Same thing with like,
So I'm like,
I guess tracking. They like write on a whiteboard for the different, like if they drop like a 4x4, or like if they lose like a towel or something like that, like they have to track everything. So just the fact that they have to like track that by hand or like take note of it every single time, like there's no way to like make it more efficient. I agree.
for me personally, I think the cost of medical care is high, at least from my understanding. And anything to be able to keep, if not improve, the safety standard and the efficacy,
Mm-hmm.
right, while decreasing the cost is just a win to me. Like I'll look into it until going to that direction. Right?
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah, I think you could get that with telehealth. I think you could get that in the OR and everything in between. When you talk about especially underserved patients, people, there's something I was thinking about before. Even if you can't touch them, the ability to at least educate patients through telehealth or telemedicine, breaking that barrier between the patient and the physician by having some level of communication through technology is huge, and it can help push things forward even more. I kind of want to shift gears now onto another passion of yours, which is finances. I was looking at some of your content and I saw you talk about it a lot, finances in medical school. So talk to me a little bit about your passion for finances, where you kind of discovered that, and any advice you could give to any medical student or pre-med student thinking about going to med school.
Mm. So my passion for finances, that's a great question, by the way. I'm actually starting a podcast. I think I've mentioned that before. But my passion for finances, it probably started when I realized how much I was messing up. I think what happened was that I was put onto Dave Ramsey. So I started with Dave Ramsey. And I learned, like, hold up. Some of the stuff I don't really agree with now, but a lot of the stuff makes sense, right? Like what he says is like facts.
Right.
So when I saw that, like people could have like pretty established, incomes, all right, but also were financially in a very bad situation.
Right.
I was just like, whoa, what is happening here? And it's all like, it's a lot of behavior, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of things that we learned just by society, just by socialization, I should say, that I don't think, and that Dave Ramsey would also say, like, what aren't good habits that we should have. Right. So in terms of like passion with like medical school, or what I would say to that is, or to pre-medical students, is just, you guys need to understand that education costs money, but don't, as Dave Ramsey would say, and I know I'm just quoting Dave Ramsey, there's a lot of other people listen to as well, but as Dave Ramsey would say, right, education is not the end all be all that you should disregard every finance in the world just to go to some program, right? Like, especially like for me, I would like look into state schools or cheaper programs, right? Always pay attention to how much that degree is going to cost, right? And then also, I would say not all degrees are the same, right? If you have a plan to go into medical school, right, but you're planning, like, you're going to do a major that like isn't really employable, and you feel like you might work some years, right? Like, you might have just wasted your money getting a degree and like from an expensive school that will just land you at like Starbucks or something, right? Nothing wrong with Starbucks, but did you need to spend $200 something thousand to do it?
Exactly.
Right. I don't think the degree matter as much, or really, when you're applying to medical school. Right? So two things I'd say is, like, make sure that you try to get yourself in the best situation financially when you go to medical school. And the other thing is, make sure that you have your budget down pat, right? Like, you can't be like, there's so many people I know, and it's just scaring me. Like, they're like in medical school right now, but they don't really know how to manage their budget, right? And it's just like, you're taking unnecessary loans, right? I understand if you're enough to take a loan to do it, but if you're taking loans just willy-nilly, and it's just like, well, where's your structure, right? Do you know how much you're going to end up in debt? And they don't have any clue,
right?
Because they're not prepared. They're not things like, these are things that you need to seek, right? Because the thing is, like, if you have bad habits now, you're gonna have worse habits.
Yeah.
When you're a physician.
Yeah, when you're attending.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. It's all behavior. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter the income, right? The income is going. Like,
Yeah.
can you imagine making several or a couple, at least a couple 100,000 a year, but you only have a net of like 10, 15,000. You're like, whoa, what is happening?
Right.
Whoa.
yeah.
You're spending like Congress, as
Yeah.
would say. What do you expect? Like,
That's so.
you gotta like, yeah, sorry.
That's so true. That's so true. And I actually recently made a video. I'm not sure if you saw it, but
I did.
a subscriber of mine asked me an email or in a comment. They said, you know, do you have any advice, or can you make a video on people that may be in low socioeconomic status or applying to medical school, or they're deterred from applying to medical school because of that? And I made a video called "Medical School is Expensive, but you shouldn't let that stop you." And basically, I was saying in the video kind of what you're saying: educate yourself first. Understand that there are resources out there for you to lower costs, make a budget, and educating yourself first will allow you to now understand. All right, this is the debt that I'm about to take on, but this is the overhead that I will have. Not the overhead. This is the outcome that I'll have as a doctor. I'll be
Yeah.
making X amount of money, and I'll be able to pay it off in this amount of years, and also help you educate your family members and other people around you, your support system, knowing that you're not just walking to a fire, and that you have a plan and you have some level of education to back up your decision making. So for any of you guys out there that may be low socioeconomic status, go check out that video for more details, but pretty much just summed it up right here. Just educate yourself first, and the importance of understanding a simple budget. Those are great
Could I
points.
add one more thing?
Yeah, please.
That's great. Thank you. I'm gonna have to watch that video after. So you know, as we said, right? I know this is a channel, but make sure you watch that video if you haven't seen it, because I'm sure it's keys. So what I wanted to say is, like, I feel like also with the loan situation, right? Because loans is, it's a reality for a lot of us,
Right.
right? It really understanding that not all loans are the same. Like, there's loans that have different terms, right? There's loans that are federal, private loans. Federal loans can be advantageous for some reasons, for certain reasons. But the reason why I mention that is because there's different payment strategies you can use, at least as of now, right? Like, there's some people, like, I don't know if you heard of PSLF, the Public Service Loan Forgiveness,
Yes.
right? There's some people who do that, right? They incur multiple hundred thousands of dollars in debt for medical school,
Mm-hmm.
but then they have the plan, and again, there's a lot of resources in how you should actually do it to make sure that you can actually qualify, because, you know, I don't think the government needs to be waving money off. But yeah, you can waive out hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt. Like, just knowing these kinds of strategies to see, like, what your plan is to be able to financially, you know, fix or financially address the cost you took. So I think that's also important. Just like your payment strategy, having that planned out. And I feel like, really quick, I feel like making these appointments with those financial advisors, I'm sure that every school should have like some kind of financial aid department. Like, even before you start school, is something I would 100% do, and I have done, because I want to understand what my financial situation is going to look like when I'm done.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I admit that I was naive initially when I was applying to schools. I was kind of like, I'm going to be making an X amount of money as a doctor. I'll be fine. And a lot of people kind of have that mentality. And even the people that are in my support system were like saying the same thing. Like, why would you need help with loans, or why would you need X amount of assistance? You're going to be making so much money. You'll be fine in comparison to what they're going through with their regular job or their loan overhead or whatever. But as I started balancing it out, once I started doing the math, you start realizing, wait a second, this is going to take me this amount of time to pay off. I'm already delaying my life. You know, everybody that I know is going to be making X amount of money before me. I'm already delaying my income. Why would I delay 10 more years to pay off a loan? Addressing it in a certain way or going about it a certain way. So I think that's so key. Taking the beat, be proactive and not reactive in this situation. So that's huge. Before I let you go, wrapping up here, any last words that you would like to say to any of the listeners out there before we wrap up the interview?
Yeah. So if you guys found yourself at Terence's channel, you know that you're doing the right thing. So make sure you guys keep on watching his good videos, right? Because I love watching his videos. So
Thank you. Thank
I'm
you.
really happy to have been a guest. um, for you guys, medical school. If you guys are interested in applying to medical school, definitely don't feel discouraged, right? I know it's a lot of money. It's hard to get in, right? But it's definitely possible. And you don't have to be this 4.0, 528 figure to get
Yeah.
into medical school, right? So just be confident in yourself. Know when you're ready. Have mentors. Mentors are key. I know that Terence is probably a good person to reach out to. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me as well. But yeah, so you guys got it. Just don't be discouraged.
Right.
And yeah, that's it.
That's awesome. I 100% agree. I would give the exact same advice. Anything you're looking forward to in medical school as we're about to start?
There's a lot of things I'm looking forward to, and there's other things I'm not really looking forward to.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe to finally be on this stage of my life, right? Then you're actually part of the medical world.
Right.
It's something I'm looking very forward to. I'm looking forward to being able to go on rounds, learning things about the human body. I guess the only thing I'm not really looking forward to is microbiology and Asian. No, what's it called again? I even forgot the subject. I'm just not hematology. What is the staining? Is that hematology?
Histology.
Histology. Yes. Microbiology and histology. I'm not really looking forward to. Not really interested in pathology, I guess. But it's everything else I'm very excited for.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. I typically they have those things first, so hopefully you can just get it out of the way. I don't know how your curriculum's set up, but hopefully you can just get it out of the way and then revisit it when step comes around. But that's awesome. That's awesome. Same thing from me. I agree. Just being able to get active in medicine finally after all these years. I want to thank you for coming on the channel. Anybody that is interested in more of Emmanuel's content, make sure you go check out his channel, Healthy Tech Media. I'll link it in the description. I'll also put it up on the screen here. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, like the video. If you enjoy these videos, putting out weekly videos just like this every single week. Thank you for watching. Let's get it.